Right back to AMC.
Why is AMC relevant? Why is it relevant in terms of an overall market picture? Why is it even worth talking about? AMC accounts for less than 0.000025% of the total market capitalization of all publicly traded companies in the United States, while at the exact same time accounts for 10.4% of the entire industry's revenue from lending securities. So what does this mean? It means that the business of selling borrows for AMC shares is insanely disproportionate compared to the rest of the market to a ridiculous degree, and that is the understatement of the century, literally accounting for 10.3% of the entire industry's revenue. This is the stock market equivalent to showing up to a fist fight with a nuclear bomb. You're not trying to just fight the other person. You're trying to completely obliterate them from existence. There's a point where shorting crosses the line of, oh, I'm betting that a company is going to fail, to I'm going to force the company to fail.
But this message is to the no voters. It's our turn now. It's our turn now. Because you know what you was doing? You was listening to the guy from New York, and he was like, we need more time. It's been a few months. We've been sitting on this. And think about it. Had we listened to you, we would have still been doing this every single day.
For some reason, Brian Reis can only speak with civility in mind when comments align with Project Popcorn's mission, targeting those who don't believe their narrative that shorts would cover, while warning that Aron's dilution would allow them to. Reis fails to grasp that short positions not handled by the conversion would require dilution to eliminate more. Instead, he mocks opposing voices rather than considering contrary views.
And the more that AMC dilutes and the more that AMC is shorted, the more you're going to have that race to the bottom in terms of share price. All of a sudden, those failures to deliver aren't too hard to deliver on because you can buy them back at dirt cheap prices.
Next, he boasted that his creation of Save Billy will finally allow AMC to revive and prevent AMC from going into bankruptcy.
So the new thesis that short sellers are depending on now is that AMC is going to do everything in their power to dilute this stock until it goes to the ground, similar to what they did to Ape. And management is yelling at the top of their lungs, yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Just look at the press releases if you don't believe me from Adam Aron. He's saying there's a massive liquidity crisis. If you look at their recent earnings, there's no massive liquidity crisis. It's all BS.
On August 13th, 2023, Alex Matthew filed a motion questioning whether Vice Chancellor Zurn penned the July 21st, 2023 opinion and the settlement approval on the 11th of August. Some of the contents suggested a dramatic shift in linguistics, the use of uncommon words like appurtenant and unitary, citing that these point to a specific author. He closed the motion by saying, "As it turns out, I found my answer on Wikipedia of all places." Judge Laster uses it quite frequently when making decisions. What a strange coincidence, I thought. Zurn quickly dismissed Matthew's August 13th claim, saying, "I am the sole author of the July 21st opinion," not addressing the approval of the settlement's authorship.
Well, Markets with May is back at it.
Hey guys, it's May from Markets with May.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome, May. How are you today?
Markets with May, or Ling Lai, rejoined Anthony Franzetti's live stream, both gloating over retail shareholders' defeat in the settlement. Despite Franzetti's earlier broadcasts expressing doubt, he now claimed he knew the settlement would pass, exposing his contradictory nature and tendency to shift stances for personal gain.
Tony, school's in session.
But I was kind of celebrating the fact that the settlement that we've been saying would pass finally went through. I had maybe one drink too many, May, toasting all the haters who said we were going to be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if it opened Monday over 200.
He and May portrayed retail investors as oblivious to the settlement's arbitrage nature, positioning themselves as savvy insiders and intellectually superior to retail. They openly admitted to exploiting the arbitrage for profit, suggesting a motive to mislead the public. Franzetti claimed that he only traded ape shares, but his reliability is questionable.
There's people that make videos. They think they know what they're talking about, and or they talk like they know what they're talking about.
Arbitrage, to be fair, is shorting AMC and going long on ape, right?
Chances are you burned all your credibility with your AMC pump and your HYMC pump and your ape pump. So I'm here to tell you, and Bed Bath & Beyond, how could I ever forget? You don't know anything about anything.
Others were just playing the conversion play, like not shorting, just going long on ape.
When May requested a press release from Aron for Monday, Franzetti confirmed it, while oddly noting that he doesn't speak directly to AMC, hinting at possible indirect communication.
Adam Aron is watching. Please put out a press release because I'm not.
There'll be one on Monday.
Yeah, hopefully. Knock on wood. I mean, I get it.
I can't guarantee that. I'm not in communication with Adam Aron or anyone at AMC, but I have a feeling.
He must have been celebrating.
I've interviewed with you before, and you knew nothing about anything, and you still don't.
Franzetti then took a swipe at retail investors, claiming Aron's silence during court proceedings stemmed from insults and their insistence that the settlement would never go through, not their justified frustration and efforts to reveal the truth about Project Popcorn. This hasty generalization reveals Franzetti's lack of insight as he twists events to shield Aron.
I mean, he must have been celebrating. I don't know how much he can still do at his age.
To sit quietly by and have people call you names for months and months saying that the settlement would never go through, yes.
You're on the wrong side of history.
I was celebrating on Friday.
That's Marcos May, okay? Here she is. Who are you? You've been here for a month. I mean, I know people are giving you Q notes and you're reading them. That's why every edit and take you come back and forth from. You just can't talk about the stock, but that's crazy to me.
Months after the vote for the split announcement, Marantz, a fierce critic of AMC influencers, lambasted their dishonesty on his YouTube channel, exposing flaws in their arguments and primarily targeting the noxious brands of Markets with May and Thomas Smallbone.
Yeah, the way you talk about Adam Aron is disgusting. As if he's great or if he's good at what he does. And he's consistently taken equity out of the shareholders' value for everything he does.
To understand about a turnaround story is that when the CEO, a turnaround CEO, is brought into a company, the company is typically not in a good spot. The board has brought the CEO in, asking him to allow the company to survive and figure out a strategy to thrive.
He didn't turn anything around. He ruined it for the minute he walked in. He's been there for 7 years. Unless he turned around in a circle, that's the only damn turnaround happening at CEO Adam Aron.
And in fairness to Mr. Aron, as much as the shorts and the haters are hating, he has done an unbelievable job of financing this company.
There's nothing happening there at AMC. This guy walked in and he bought $2 billion worth of failed movie theaters, drove this company into the ground. Once everybody saw what was going on and tried to take their investment back, Wanda Group, everyone else, he sold it off to Silver Lake. He sold it off to Mudrick. He sold it off to retail. He's dumping bags everywhere he can. Is how you think that you can sit here and make videos and tell people that have been holding for 2 years, hey, vote yes. We need this conversion. No, you need the conversion. They don't. If they don't convert, shorts just get hit on right now. He's in bed with the shorters. Mr. Aron, yeah, your guy who's failed everywhere he goes. You think he was successful everywhere he goes? He's a suit. That's what he is. And he has been. For more than half of his life, he's been a suit. It is an inside job like you've ever seen one, because I can see right through you. You're a suit, just like Adam Aron and just like Sean Goodman. You think the market manipulation is an issue? They are allowing it to happen on purpose. They could have stopped this a long time ago. But you know what they did, May? I know you were here, right? No, you weren't here, okay? But this is not going to benefit anyone but yourself. You're going to get people to hold and say yes to a vote. And why? Because you own ape. I'm guessing you're going to turn and burn. Who are you again, May? And where did you come from?
It is one thing to swagger through the public square crowing about expertise in a field where you lack formal credentials, only to stumble spectacularly and be exposed as a fraud. But it is a far darker act to wield an illustrious financial pedigree adorned with glittering resumes and prestigious institutional training, and use that gilded platform to ensnare an unsuspecting public in a web of deceit. May Mei-Ling Lai possessed all of this and more. A titan of finance and strategy, a consultant cloaked in authority, she brandished a master's degree in social science from the hallowed halls of Columbia University, an undergraduate degree in political science, and a resume that shimmered in titles: part-time instructor in business, finance, and economics, adjunct professor in data science, advisory board member of the enigmatic Lancer Group, a hedge fund shrouded in its own lore, managing member of the elusive Calliope Group, boasting unparalleled research prowess, managing director of the Kiski Group, another hedge fund steeped in ambition, research associate at the storied Chilton Investment Group, financial analyst at Goldman Sachs, and a consultant and financial analyst at the colossal Morgan Stanley. With such a dazzling constellation of credentials, Lai stood poised to command trust, her words carrying the weight of unsaleable truth. Yet, in a pivotal video that looms over financial discourse, she played a decisive role in a scheme that would reshape the fortunes of countless retail investors tethered to AMC. Armed with this arsenal of expertise, Lai faced a fateful choice. Either she deliberately wove a tapestry of lies meticulously scripted to mislead, or she succumbed to a staggering ignorance that belied her lofty titles. The stakes, the forceful execution of Project Popcorn, a plan she helped thrust upon the market. In this video, Lai either orchestrated a brazen deception, crafting a false narrative about court proceedings, AMC's precarious financial state, and the implications of Project Popcorn, all to pave the way for its controversial rollout for her own nefarious gain. Or she revealed a shocking incompetence, blind to the damning evidence she claimed to have studied, evidence that, to any trained eye, exposed the true cost of Project Popcorn, a maneuver that would erode the wealth of retail investors. Far from a hapless misstep, Project Popcorn was a calculated strategy, propelled by Lai's influence, that blindsided those who trusted her expertise. Whether by malice or monumental error, Lai's actions cast a shadow over her glittering resume, leaving a trail of shattered trust and a question that lingers like a storm cloud. How could someone so decorated be so wrong?
But I saw so many questions on people feeling like they were going to lose 90% of their value or something like that on a 10-for-1 split. And that's just, whoever is doing that has, you're very welcome, Batar. That's just wrong. I don't know how to say it.
44 minutes of her talking about the benefits of a reverse stock split and any misunderstandings that you might have.
But in fairness, Mr. Aron is clearly working up to the last hour of the year to defend the stock against short sellers. There is so much misinformation out there. It's actually kind of epic. So let me just be crystal clear. If you are short AMC right now and the board approves the remerger of APE into AMC and approves the reverse split, you need to cover. And you probably should go ahead and do that now. How that's a gigantic Christmas present to both APE and AMC shareholders.
Clearly, one-way agenda here.
This vote that's coming up could really hurt the short sellers by a lot. And I'm putting this video out because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there when it's clear to me now that I've had time to fully understand these four parts that this unambiguously benefits both APE and AMC shareholders. Now, the APE shares were given as a dividend to all AMC shareholders. It was non-dilutive, and that happened circa August. And you will be short AMC shares, and your loss will begin around 100%. Now, that would imply that if the APE shareholders refuse to sell, then everybody shorting APE is going to be driven into the AMC market to cover. If we put the two together, you'll have two piles of huge short selling coming together. It means that whoever is short the APE shares or the AMC shares, it's to their benefit to try to get you to sell your AMC shares right now or to further short the AMC shares.
Shut up.
Today, I want to talk about a short squeeze that reached $90,000 per share. I want to explain what caused the squeeze.
AMC announced on the 14th of August the following dates. August 24th, 2023, the reverse split would occur. August 25th, 2023, the conversion of APE into common stock was next, and on August 28th, 2023, the settlement consideration would be issued.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
The reason I was at my local credit union is because I was making another money transfer. I made another wire transfer to one of my brokerage accounts so that I could buy more AMC, selling my house, to the hiring of several hundred employees for Lit Exchange. And I'm on my way to Dallas. Watch out Fidelity, watch out Schwab. Here comes Lit Exchange. You better give your employees a massive raise and some good benefits because we're coming to poach your best talent.
Hi guys, welcome back again.
Our Founders Program. We're going to be offering retail investors the opportunity to own a piece of Lit Exchange, and we have been proven correct.
Yes, he's been wrong already and he admitted it.
There's also a 1-to-10 reverse split incoming, which will not steal anybody's shares. You're gonna hear some shills talking about, I'm losing 90% of my shares. Well, no, you're not losing shit. As a matter of fact, their shares are being consolidated. So even though you will go from having 1,000 shares to having 100 shares, they will also increase in value 10 times.
Stop with the bullshit, guys, and stop tailor-making the damn information to make it look like it's something it's not.
I don't read a script. It's like having a single $1 bill. I don't read a script. It's like having a single $10 bill or like having 10 singles. At the end of the day, it's $10. And I'd rather have a $10 bill than 10 singles. The AMC cost to borrow is over 700%.
And Boss Blunt's supposed to be the everything of it. He doesn't know it either. Your company is run wrong. Your company is zero. The debt alone, the cost to actually carry over that debt is zero. The cash burn is zero. You're never going to make a profit. You guys are all a joke. It's like I'm speaking to the wind because half these guys are too dumb to know the difference. And two, oh no, you talked bad about my stock. I can't like you. Okay, then don't like me. But how the hell could you listen to a guy who's right here just leaving out, just omitting the information? Falsification of the data, that's gonna ruin you and your investment. All of you. It's all right. I'll keep doing the homework while they keep talking about it. I'll keep doing it. Walk that walk, talk that talk. Peace.
Nobody's losing 90% of their shares. They're being consolidated, and your price, the value of your account remains the same. To say that I'm excited about AMC doing a reverse split and a conversion and issuing shares on the market again is an understatement. Point two, the fact that we're gonna be so fucking rich. I want my fucking money, and I'm not leaving until I get paid. I'm here for billions with a fucking S. I'm not here for a short squeeze. I'm here for a MOAS, for a mother of all short squeezes. That's because I have the utmost confidence in Adam Aron, the AMC Board of Directors.
Michael Simmons, an investor primarily in APE shares, brought a pending action to the Chancery Court, taking up the recent August 11th judgment 3 days prior. Brian Reis rebutted Simon's claims by characteristically insulting him.
Looks like there's another stupid-ass lawsuit going on right now that they're trying to do. We can all go ahead and thank stupid fucking Michael Simmons. Thanks, Michael. You're a really, really good guy. Fucking dumbass.
You have people more loyal to the influencers than they have to the program. The fucking movement.
So here's the biggest stock pumper of them all. This is AMC Biggums, guys. Been doing this shit for like a year and a half already, and it's getting played out.
And this is the thing that was trying to explain to everybody. Oh, he's gonna fucking help the hedge funds. He's gonna fuck us over. And I'm like, nope.
The only difference is they've sold off everyone's equity, including your own if you were a stockholder, but chances are you're not.
And on top of that, a lot of people are saying, well, he's not going to pay down debt. There's nothing saying that he's going to pay down debt. So again, they continuously talk about paying down debt. I know some people out there were saying they're not going to, but you are completely incorrect.
They have not serviced their debt. Think about this, AMC Biggums. They have not paid 1 ounce of their real corporate debt in the last 2 years.
They're not going to continuously dump on you guys like everybody said they're going to do. They're not going to go out there and just fuck everybody over. Looking over at AMC, the short thesis is about to get like I said, there's nothing bad that can happen from this conversion. Everybody that is freaking out, everybody that, oh, he's just going to fuck us over.
Not just making shit up. You should do more due diligence on this investment that you claim you own.
Like I said, they're scared shitless, you guys.
Now, they also will be removing the failed experiment called APE. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean failed experiment? You promoted this damn thing. You also told everybody to vote yes. You've done every single step of the way wrong. Oh, they're gonna pounce. It's profitable. This is gonna expose the shorts. How's phase 6 going?
900% cost to borrow.
The cost to borrow this morning was around 350%.
We're back at 921% cost to borrow.
And then a few hours later, the cost to borrow exceeded 450%.
It is back up to 921%.
The ISDA contracts and swaps and rehypothecations against these stocks have not been closed out. They've been kicked further down the can.
But Billy is fucking saved, guys. Trump 2024, how about Biggums 2024?
This kid's pumping out hopes and dreams. Nothing factual. Just, this is what I think is gonna happen. This is what I think is gonna happen. Well, I told you what's gonna happen. I told you what APE was. APE was the Trojan horse to retail investors. Now they took it all, and you're trying to defend that Adam Aron made one bad deal to get out of it all. He sold to the shorts because they are the shorts. How is the dilution of the float beneficial to anyone that has a 1.5 billion float currently, then a reverse stock split, 10-1, and then refilling up the coffers with a combined vote of 600 million shares? We're talking about 550 shares to the public common A stock and 50 million preferred shares. That's right, they're filling back up. So explain to me exactly what you think is happening here. Adam Aron is doing it again. And I don't know how many times you guys have to see something bad happen and or your money get taken before you realize that it's wrong. AMC insiders don't own this stock. They're not going to do anything beneficial for you, retail. At some point, someone's going to say the truth out here. And if it's just me, then it's just me. But AMCBIGGUMS, Boss Blunts, or anyone else that wants to say this is a positive move, I'm waiting for you guys to stop lying to your following. And for anyone who believes it, for anyone who tells me I'm a shill, I'm putting out videos, really? I'm a shill because I read you the filings themselves, because I show you the balance sheets. That's shilling? Educate yourself, guys. They just took your whole life savings. This investment is trash, and people have lost millions of dollars. Individuals losing hundreds of thousands of dollars listening to your bullshit. Private equity and the bondholders run AMC. This is why they've done the wrong thing at every turn. When the CFO of this company, Sean Goodman, when he owns one share of AMC, I'll buy one share of AMC. AMCBIGGUMS. You're trash. Peace, punk.
Hey guys, Tony DeNaro here. Welcome back. Join us in the Wise Guys room and hear from a lot of very smart folks. I will be there as well. And we're going to talk about what is coming up in about 8 days with the reverse split, the conversion, and things you need to think about to make sure that you are on the right side of this. Now, this is not going to be a YouTube video because there are a lot of people on YouTube that prefer clickbait over real information. This will be for Discord members only. I will see you there live at 7:30 p.m. tonight. AMC has over $1 billion of cash in the bank and a quarterly cash burn of only about $120 million. They have stated that they have no intention to tap their loan reserves and no need to do so in the next 12 months. They have plenty of cash, guys. And I think that the people talking about immediate dilution are presenting an overly bearish case to scare you out of this investment. That is my opinion. That is how I view this whole thing. There is no immediate concern in my mind about dilution due to the APE unit. It is a ticket to ride. It is a golden ticket. It is a freedom in the back pocket of Adam Aron, knowing that he has the ability to pay off the debt literally at any time of his choosing and wipe off the risk of bankruptcy from this company.
They did dilute the company instantly, like they would. Within 4 months, you are now getting a conversion back to what no one wanted. And what don't you guys want? Dilution. You don't want bonuses for others. You don't want this mass manipulation of your investment. But if you are still invested, which most of you guys claim that you are, or they think you are diamond-handed, just know the worst thing that could happen just happened. He sold to the villains themselves, the people he's trying to fight, as he calls it. You cannot paint it any other way.
On August 15th, 2023, Theodore Kittla filed an appeal with the Chancery Court asking that the status quo be reimposed pending an appeal to the Supreme Court of Delaware.
All right. Take a look at it like this. We got smashed, but we got smashed because popcorn. It was almost like they wanted us to just go, I'm done.
On August 16th, 2023, an AMC shareholder who objected to the settlement, Alex Holland, submitted a complaint to the New York Stock Exchange. He referenced AMC's August 14th, 2023 8K filing that he said would cause significant financial harm to 3.8 million investors. The lengthy letter predicted the devastating outcome of Project Popcorn's final step. Alex mentioned the many cause cause and effect occurrences taking place within the security that would eventually see retail's investment obliterated at the hands of AMC's board of directors.
And I've looked at this with the brightest minds, you name it, Casey Shaw, Pantheon AMC, and 100 other apes. We've all gone over this together and separately in multiple discords, on Twitter and everything, and we've all come to the same, and you don't have to be a genius to see.
The brightest of minds. So he wanted to include all of these other fictitious characters that don't really exist. One of them don't really exist. These guys don't come on camera. These guys don't really say their name. And when they give you the info that they give you, it's spoon-fed to you.
The unidentified, inorganic, and contrived source of Aron's social media campaign ramped up, baiting more retail investors to purchase stock before the reverse stock split, insinuating that a squeeze would result from the conversion. Katherine Larsen inevitably released back-to-back stock pumping videos just days before the conversion and split. New investors unaware of what was happening with Project Popcorn, the mechanics of the stock market, and the last 3 years of continual securities fraud would have their new investment quickly reduced so that the short sellers in AMC would be removed from their reckless, unregulated attack on the company with the company's help. Re-uploading the trailer for Apes Together Strong, a film by the Mulligan brothers, originally released on May 5th, 2023, Katherine Larsen sought to remind the retail community of a time when the AMC apes were a powerful, united force. This came ahead of the film's full release on May 22nd, 2023. However, Larsen and other core influencers in Project Popcorn, after gaining the trust of retail investors, later let down some of the community by aligning with the hedge funds they once convincingly opposed. They fractured the apes, sowing deep division. With the reverse stock split looming, the re-release of the inspiring documentary trailer served to reinforce Katherine Larsen's message. It rallied the community while subtly encouraging more people to buy the stock, ultimately funneling additional funds from retail investors into the market.
Today, I want to talk about how the shorts must close on conversion. Today, I want to talk about how the shorts will lose trillions of dollars as time goes by until they finally succumb to the mother of all short squeezes. I want to explain and run through the numbers on how this user has been offered $1 trillion to lend out his AMC shares for the long term.
Linda Blair and the fat chick get getting closer and closer and closer. The AMC court document, the CEO is the one supposed to be keeping us up to date on litigation, you know, like the XRP CEO, but no, not Popcorn. Vetting that paperwork is important because obviously that leads to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of, oh my. And since we have such little time left, we really need that.
Over the next several days, Katherine Larsen tweets on numerous occasions to anyone seeing her posts in order to pump AMC further before the reverse split and conversion, giving the impression that money will be made by those investing. In truth, the money made was reverted to those shorting the stock rather than to retail investors, as was intended. Larsen tagged Peter Han and Brian Reis along with a user called @CoreyCorner, who was actively tracking down and attempting to expose accounts that were revealing Project Popcorn to the public. A woman named Christy, who he stalked and harassed over the internet during the prime of Project Popcorn, revealed him to be Corey Amex, an admissions representative at Indiana Business College. Larsen suggested that there were multiple accounts everywhere, possibly inferring to bots or to a collective group of people attempting to send a collective message to retail investors about AMC's underhanded dealings with the stock. In her next tweet, she posted that she bought more shares, though she was never able to prove she had any to begin with, again pumping the stock up as if the conversion would cause a squeeze or some sort of exponential growth, supposedly taking gullible people along with her. After that, she used the phrase, "No one is selling," while tagging Brian Reis, because if they don't sell, their portfolio's holdings will go straight to the brokers, transferring the equity elsewhere, essentially digital theft on a massive scale. Though Katherine Larsen has participated in one of the largest heists in stock market history, this tweet alone should cement her place as one of the primary social media accomplices in the scheme. She directed her audience to believe that, like 2021, where AMC rose in value to its its all-time high. It gave her the same vibes. She closed out the tweet with a phrase most of the influencers continued to use to excite others into purchasing the stock. If the shorts were truly in trouble because of the reverse split, then the investor only had to gain from the reverse split. She repeated the expression in reply to Marcel Kalinovic's post, once more revealing the synchronized collaboration among the influencers. Eitan Leibovitz attempted to refute Katherine Larsen's posts, but was met with a strange command from her to stand down. In one of her final tweets, she inquired whether anyone knew of a Ponzi scheme larger than the one Bernie Madoff executed in the 1990s, while she was aiding a financial terrorism plot by AMC to strip retail investors of their money and ownership in the company.
When you I don't want to say the S word, when you shoot out shares like candy, all of a sudden what happens? Well, shorts are very, very happy.
On August 21st, 2023, Rose Izzo's appeal to stay the status quo order was denied. She then withdrew her appeal in the Court of Chancery, the same day the Supreme Court of Delaware denied Rose Izzo a motion for a status quo order pending appeal.
So there was an appeal through the Supreme Court as well, through the Supreme Court of Delaware, and that was denied.
Katherine Larsen celebrated Rose Izzo's defeat again, as she was unable to send the case to the Supreme Court of Delaware, and thereby another monumental loss for retail investors. On August 22, 2023, Katherine Larsen released another stock-pumping video 2 days before the reverse split was set to commence. That evening, she shared news of an accident she endured, receiving hospital treatment for her injuries. Without insight from close friends or family, it is unclear if the post sought sympathy, especially given her ongoing promotion of AMC stock and misleading retail investors into financial losses. Her background in makeup effects artistry raises questions about whether the post was a calculated move to deflect criticism for aiding Aron in further eroding retail investors' ownership of AMC. A tweet on the 22nd from Brian Reis shamed the no voters, saying had the settlement not been approved, Aron would have been forced to sell at a low price, like he has done before with Antara. His words are not overtly intellectually market-focused, as it is often difficult to decipher his exceptionally ineffective grammar.
Yanis picked up 61 shares. Absolutely great, buddy. Congrats. Ask me any questions that you have right now about AMC and Ape, and I will go through them one by one.
A single day from Project Popcorn's finish line, Marcel Kalinovic's unfiltered video speaks volumes, exposing his deplorable ego-fueled misinformation spiral.
Who paid for that house and what script are you reading? Let's go, Brandon. I never sell myself sleep tight. I paid for this house. Fucking idiot. The Giving Project says you're a shill. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking moron. The shorts can't fucking afford me. None of them could fucking afford me. Have you been fucking listening at all? Are you fucking retarded? No, that's an insult to retards. You're just fucking stupid. Man, it's simple. Why don't people understand? They can't fucking close their positions. They can't fucking close them. They have no fucking choice. They're stuck until retail sells. I've already got multi-million-dollar fucking companies, and I'm going for billions with a fucking S. They cannot fucking afford me because I do not provide financial advice. I am going with my due diligence, and I'm not wrong. And when I do have to show up in front of court, I will be able to show them all of these fucking videos, all of my fucking tweets, everything on Reddit, everything on TikTok and Instagram and so on that I've ever put out there, and say I simply put out educational information. I didn't take a dime from anybody. Did you just super chat me $420? Why would you send me that much money? You could spend that on shares. You know what though? Thank you so much. And I did not short AMC and Ape. I don't read a script. AMC could easily raise $17 billion by issuing these $25 billion. I'm sorry. Excuse me. AMC could easily raise $17 billion by issuing these 25 million shares on the open market. I don't read a script. That shit's up here because I fucking know these things like the back of my hand because I've done my due diligence on this stock for almost 3 fucking years.
Whether you like me or you don't like me, listen up because I'm gonna explain something to you. They all got scripts for that. Hello motherfuckers.
on the other side, I know you all got scripts in front of you that were handed to you. I get it.
It's almost too easy for me at this point. It's because I know things about this stock and the stock market that most people can only dream of. What do you think of all the other content creators who quit AMC? Matt Kohrs even put a clown face on your pick in a recent video. I think that's absolutely hilarious. I'm flattered, and I've got no interest in what Matt Kohrs has to say because the guy knows absolutely nothing about AMC. Ape Henry asks, my fear is that after the reverse split, we're going to come down to the same levels we're at now. Oh, my friend, the shorts spent a lot of money bringing this bitch down right now to $1.96. But I own hundreds of thousands of dollars of AMC and Ape shares and call contracts. I am not short the stock, either of the stock. I do not short or buy or sell puts on AMC or Ape or AMC1 or AMC2. I don't read a script. That being said, I have a vested interest in supporting my favorite stock. That means that after the reverse split in the morning, AMC will be worth $19.60 because I have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in this stock. I believe AMC at some point will squeeze much higher than GameStop ever did. The value of the shorts positions does not decrease because of a reverse split. It is simply the number of short positions is adjusted to match the reverse split, but the actual value does not change. Easily, that would lead them the ability to pay off their $6 billion in debt and be completely debt-free and profitable.
Adam Aron is not paying down AMC's debt. You are paying down AMC's debt. And you're doing so literally with less than 10 cents on the dollar as well. Adam Aron is paying down debt out of your pocket. Adam Aron takes $1 from you and he pays less than 10 cents down on the debt. Think about that. Adam Aron steals $1 out of your pocket and pays down or uses 10 cents out of that dollar to pay down AMC's debt. You and I lost $2.1 billion and Adam Aron paid off $163 million. That is just a little over a 5% ratio. 5 cents on the dollar is what Adam Aron utilized out of his catastrophic thievery to take $2.1 billion out of the hands of retail investors.
That would destroy the short thesis.
People will look you in the eye today and tell you that short sellers have been destroyed on AMC stock. Yet the fact of the matter is that AMC is trading at a lower level today than it has been in years. And look, folks, we've been talking about this for a long, long time, and it's always FUD when you say something bad about a management decision. But it's so clear if you just open your eyes for 2 seconds and you look at how just the stock price reacts to different decisions.
And in addition, you know what else they could do? After that, they could issue more dividends. You know who has to pay for those dividends? Shorts. I can't fucking wait. I hope Adam Aron dumps a bunch of shares because guess what that does? That causes more buying pressure. That causes the shorts to buy up those fucking shares because they desperately need them, just like the last few times. Because 25 million shares from AMC is not enough for them to close out their fucking shorts. That's why they have to buy those shares. And that's why the price goes up higher when they do issue them.
Did the stock move higher? Did AMC move higher because of anything that Adam Aron was doing? Absolutely not. He slithered his way into a $163 million debt reduction, but it only cost you $2.1 billion.
Don't buy, sell, or hold simply because you heard me say something. Do your own homework. Look up the OBV, look up the short interest, look up how short exempts work, look about naked shorts. Check out shorts marked as long. Welcome to the real world.
The day of the reverse split, August 24th, 2023, while the price continued to drop, Reis tweeted again with a short message attempting to give retail shareholders hope, while one asked an obvious question. Aron had money, but needed more, when he didn't need the reverse stock split or conversion. In an effort to dispel what was happening to AMC's price after the split began, Philip Pitts repeated the same inaccurate and ineffective message to retail.
So AMC had its reverse split today, 1 for 10.
The Hollywood Reporter posted an article showing AMC's immediate drop in price before the split's commencement. The split and conversion resulted in AMC's outstanding shares reverting to 158,382,446 shares. The dilution of common stockholders was at 1,749%, ruining their investment in one fell swoop. The cost average of shareholders rose between $50 per share to a staggering $150 per share, with the planned reduction of 90% of their investment, transferring the wealth from the people who saved the company to the people, including AMC's board of directors, destroying the company.
We are witnessing live the largest theft campaign in the history of America.
How epic is that?
And it still managed to drop another 30% plus today in split adjusted prices at lows. And if you look at the split adjusted prices since heights in 2021, it's gone from $726.20 to $13.33. Before the split, this would have been $72.62 to $1.33. If you do the math on that, that is a drop of about 98%, a little bit more than 98%. And tomorrow, APE, which has also gone down dramatically since it was introduced, will be rejoining with AMC, and that's going to cause about a 90% dilution of AMC common stock.
On August 25th, 2023, AMC converted outstanding APEs to common stock.
Once they're able to, that combined stock is going to be dumped on so aggressively your head is going to spin off. There's going to be so many shares out, shorts are going to be like, wow, it's like raining shares.
Adam, explain, man. We're waiting for you to explain what's going on. My average was at $6 before this. Now my average is at $132 per share. $132 with like 30 shares when I had hundreds. No, explain how this is supposed to help you in the business and the company. The price is just spiking. It's shooting right back down, right along with our accounts. Only person benefiting in this right now is somebody who could short the company.
The settlement consideration of giving back some of retail's ownership after the remainder was stolen from them takes place on August 28, 2023, which, like the tax-free fake dividend of APE, held no real value when considering how much AMC and hedge funds had taken from them since APE's introduction. If including the continued drop in price and today's value, Aron on the cusp of bankruptcy once again, there was no value in the settlement, not even for Aron's insistence that he would pay down the debt. Though repeated, what AMC's management has done is willingly allow Project Popcorn to destroy the company from within and without. With the amount of equity that retail held as APE, it converted into 99,540,641 common stock shares from over 995 million original AMC preferred equity units, now leaving the total number of common stock shares at 158,382,446 Class A common stock shares remaining. AMC had secured approval to release an extra 550 million Class A common stock shares, amounting to a 1,449% surge in further dilution. Following the reverse split, several AMC executives who had already liquidated the bulk of their shares, most of which had been gifted rather than purchased, retained only a small stake in the company. Shortly thereafter, they were granted new stock awards, creating the public illusion that they too were sharing in the hardship faced by retail investors. In truth, their prior divestments insulated them from loss, allowing them to avoid the very financial damage that everyday shareholders were forced to endure. These included Chavaria, Koch, Sach, Cox, Ellis, Locke, Sussman, Paulus, Frank, Connor, Latter, and Aron.
I'm actually thinking this lawsuit was all wrong. I'm actually thinking that this should have been a loss. Be honest with you, this is straight out fraud.
What would you say to Adam Aron?
I would just say you're a disgrace. You should resign immediately, and you need to apologize for your actions, or at least come clean what went on and tell people the truth, because what he's done and what he's done on the record is toxic. He took advantage of one class of investors to help a very sophisticated class of investors who were his friends. Everything he touches fails because he knew flat out it wasn't a reward. He knew flat out it wasn't a dividend. He knew it was a rights offering to dilute the living out of people no matter what, and he told them the other way around.
Retail shareholders were begging for a dividend, which is wrong because they actually gave them a dividend all right, but it was in a real dividend. It was actually just dilution.
Adam Aron is not some sort of a hero. Adam Aron is a thief.
Allegheny will only be made whole after they rob it from us.
And I'm gonna tell you guys something. Anybody who still thinks that Adam Aron has the best interests of retail investors at heart, either they're not paying attention or their critical thinking skills have been warped, but maybe they are mentally compromised. All the evidence in these court filings point to the fact that Adam Aron conspired with Citigroup to dilute our shares. I mean, and they even call it Operation Popcorn, like it was some CIA type clandestine operation. But in a sense it was a clandestine operation against retail investors. It was a clandestine operation to steal our company, to steal our company from out under us, to dilute our shares. So all you yes voters, all you people that attack me every day and say that Adam Aron is on your side, please go look at the Popcorn Project documents. And after you read those documents, I want you to tell me that you still believe Adam Aron is on your side. And if after you read these documents, after you've seen what Adam Aron did with Citigroup to create those ape shares, if you still believe that, you might have some issues.
This is collusion. Project Popcorn, aka Ape, a checkmate idea to cheat and deceive shareholders from Citigroup, made famous by our very own silverback CEO Adam Aron. And I could smell the stench of Adam Aron's BS. Section 2. Quote unquote, in the summer of 2021, AMC was running out of common stock to use to raise equity capital and attempted to authorize additional common stock. Unable to authorize more, the company made zero attempt to ask for more AMC shares to sell. No attempt was made at all to say unable is laughable. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? Because Citigroup had this great idea to begin Project Popcorn in the form of a preferred equity that could convert into common stock. He pulled the vote. Why would he pull the vote? Probably because of Project
Popcorn, a scheme so greasy even your fingers would slip trying to hold the truth. It's a tale of deception, dilution, and popcorn so stale it could break your teeth. Allegedly orchestrated by AMC's very own CEO and a shadowy crew of insider traders and some social media influencers who were cashing out faster than an ATM on payday.
So what did Adam Aron decide to do? On August 4th, he decided to do his tweet storm and try to get everyone to understand what it was. Today, we pounce. And you guys remember all of this because it's so painful.
Problem here is very, very clear. Management has given short sellers the green light to dump on the stock as much as possible. The sad thing is that AMC is signaling right now that it is open season to short the hell out of their stock, and has in effect armed short sellers again and again. And this is the most obvious attempt at that. And you can just tell by looking at how the stock is trading. Then shareholders didn't want dilution, so AMC figured out a workaround with Ape. Ape got massively diluted, then Ape was trading too low. So guess what happens? Well, we need to recombine Ape to AMC. Now they're recombining, AMC's dropping like a rock, and what are they gonna do next? More dilution with AMC common stock.
The company's banker, Citigroup, began work on Project Popcorn, a prospective issuance of an alternative form of equity that could convert into common stock. Now we know that it was Citigroup that came up with this idea, and they went ahead and came up with the idea. AMC and Citigroup considers plans for potential rights offering that would allow investors to buy common stock equivalent that could eventually convert into common stock. By February of 2022, Citigroup proposed that AMC could call that APE, right? AMC Preferred Equity Units. Van Zandt, Derek Van Zandt, he is the senior director, manager for Citigroup for all of North America. He's been there for 23 years. Yes, these are the guys, the masterminds. The unfortunate part is they took the shareholder equity from you and they only raised maybe double that amount. It wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it for what they did. And nobody wants to tell them that. And that's the unfortunate part. But hey, it wasn't meant to be worth it because Antura and Citigroup partnered up on this one. They took the 10 million preferred shares, converted them, and what was it? It was now 1 billion preferred equity units, APEs, and they diluted that whole amount as well. When the APE units came out and he said, "This is what I'm doing for you. This is my checkmate. This is my pounce," that was a lie. But we have to vote yes, or else we're going to dilute even more. Well, we have to vote yes, or else this company's going to fail. Guys, the company has failed.
After the introduction at Ape, I felt that the management at AMC was just too focused on dilution and needlessly and recklessly destroying shareholder value. And honestly, I was pretty pissed off that they named this Ape in the first place because it encourages a lot of the loyal shareholders of AMC that basically bailed out the company not basically, but 100% bailed out the company, and it basically encouraged them to hold it, while at the same time trying to have them ignore that this was the dilutive vehicle that management was just going to dump on massively.
And he went and had 12 movie premieres or 16 movie premieres in 16 various cities to tell people how great this was, knowing full well that was a lie.
Because it was apes. It was his following. It was, they were just a legion of people that were going to follow this man no matter where he went, because they didn't know any better. And they knew they had that in the bag.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he was going to destroy people's lives, and he didn't care. He knew, acted with malice, acted with forethought, and knew exactly what the outcome was going to be.
I'm tired of acting as if Adam Aron's a good guy. There's no proof to that whatsoever. He has milked this community while lining his own pockets with millions and millions and millions of dollars. And if you bring that up, apparently that means you work for Citadel, which it's such bull. It's straight up bull.
Well, one, all the insiders were selling off their shares, and they have since to buy not one share, and they won't buy a share. And why? Because they had this information. This is non-public information, and they traded off of it. So I want to know when the SEC is going to look into insider trading at this point. Guys, they knew that everyone was going to sell off. It was going to dilute the value. They already knew. That's why. Why do you think, and Sean Goodman's the one who actually said this, Sean Goodman is the one who actually sold off every single share he owns of Ape, of AMC, you name it, he sells, because they all knew what was going to happen here. Before they announced Ape, before they announced that they were going to do an additional preferred equity unit, you know what they did? They told all the insiders, hey guys, we're about to do this, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to allow all of you to sell your shares. They lifted the clause on the requirements for insiders to hold shares. They lifted it and they made a window of 13 months, allowing everyone to sell every share they had. And they continue to sell 99.9% of all shares in that time frame. Now they say they're going to ride with you. We ride with you. They have no choice because the bylaws state that they have to hold X amount of shares. Well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to hold them until they retire, and then they're going to sell. So why the hell would we even care about market manipulation when it's happening from within?
People are not looking at this situation with any semblance of logic. To the people who probably vehemently hate us right now, I think our argument is actually very close to those. We're just adding one more person onto the list that we think's taking advantage of retail, and they don't want to hear it because to them, he is symbolically representative of the ape movement and their financial investment. Look at his stock sales, look at him giving stock to his own son, and look at his buddies, Mudrick and Antera. They fared very well in this situation. HYMC, Highcroft, wherever that was, that fared very well. The only people I see really losing in this situation is the exact same subset of people who saved the company to begin with.
Is there anybody out there who still don't believe that AMC was corruption? I know he said with his crooked mouth, you can just easily short $3 as you can 30. But the point is, they're trying to keep AMC alive to keep on draining us. So why would they short it out at $3 and then kill the whole thing? So they need room to jump up so they can make money on the way down on us again. This time it wasn't about us putting money in and they taking it. This was about them draining the money we already had in it. They wanted to tank it and take way more of our money without killing the business.
On August 28th, 2023, Theodore Kittla made an application for an interim award of attorney's fees and expenses. As with any major scam, when the promised results fail to materialize, the charade must persist. The influencers tied to Aron's Project Popcorn were quick to maintain the confidence scheme shortly after the reverse stock split, despite the shorts failing to cover their positions as anticipated.
AMC needed to raise capital. This writer's strike is already pushing movies back. Ape was necessary at the time. We would have been talking bankruptcy. It was needed. It was a good idea.
AMC's management will push for dilution no matter how little they actually need that dilution. And all of these things have come true despite the fact that by telling the truth, we were called massive shills. This is in their own filings. If you go to their SEC filings, they're soon going to have the ability to immediately issue 25 million new shares on the market, which is about 17% of the current float. Doing this at multi-year lows for AMC stock is a big mistake. Big mistake. It's a big slap in the face to all of the investors who held this all the way down as the company went all the way back up.
Give it some time, you guys. I know it doesn't feel like it's right now, but they are throwing every thing they have at it because this is their last attempt before we can start raising capital. Think about it. AMC has had nothing but great news. Hey, they're doing the conversion. They can now properly raise money. A company can now raise money again. That would make the stock price go down. No, that should make it go up.
And if you're somebody that believes, oh, they just want the ability to issue shares, but they won't do it. Okay. Okay, well, just look at what happened with Ape. Just look what happened with AMC common stock when they diluted back in 2021 during some of the hottest periods for AMC. Just look at all those periods and ask if they had the ability to dump half the market cap, for example, of AMC stock tomorrow, would they not do that? Come on, don't be stupid.
This is the correct path to take. Every one of all the no voters, if I haven't changed your mind by this, honest to God, I don't think there's anything that's going to. So
viewers are urged to scrutinize Reis's words against today's reality, a reality he claimed to fully grasp. Despite this textbook display of hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance, his video stands as a damning emblem of an influencer's implicit guilt, unleashing a tsunami of hyperbolic unease. Also consider the contrast between Reis's response and Ziptrader's well-reasoned scholarly critique of AMC's leadership regarding their treatment of retail investors. Reis's lack of expertise is evident, coming across as an amateur attempting to project authority, while Ziptrader demonstrates a clear professional perspective.
Ziptrader's video and all these fucking clowns. Ziptrader, oh, AMC, they've been able to suffice the... When Ape drops down to 55 cents as he's diluting, friend, this is my number one argument to the conversion by looking at all my videos. If I'm a short seller right now, why the fuck would I cover when I can sit there and over buy Ape now at 45, 55 cents? And then what we're gonna do, instead of having one Antera, you're gonna have 4 or 5. I'm not paid by fucking anyone. And people go, well, because of that, you're paid off. I'm not sitting there looking at you guys saying, I don't make good money. I don't do this shit. But all of this is fucking ad revenue. I get paid from YouTube to fucking educate you guys. I get a couple $100 from Barney. Complain about the creation of Ape all you fucking want. But without it, we would be
the whole Ape situation in the first place was a workaround of shareholders of AMC common stock that did not want any more dilution and looked at the numbers and said, yeah, we don't actually need any more dilution at that time. And at that time, honestly, AMC kind of did need dilution. But now they definitely don't need it. They've been bailed out by the retail shareholder, but it's not enough because it's never enough. It won't be enough until they've taken every single dollar, and the short sellers have become very, very, very rich off the backs of the folks who loyally held this company and bailed it out.
For everybody that listened and bought Ape when it was 80 fucking cents.
Something that we warned about during Ape when that was introduced. We said, make sure you're selling Ape unless you want to bail out the company because you're going to be diluted massively.
Look at the court filing. It says that we voted no, but Antera, it was Antera that did the voting and they made it win. But I'm trying to educate them and show, hey, we need this. And you're too much of a fucking emotional pussy to educate yourself and go, there's a bigger picture? Adam Aron's gonna dump all 25 million shares to the hedge funds. Do you know how retarded you sound?
And from the moment that the CEO, Adam Aron, announced an additional dilution of 40 million shares, it's down roughly 50%.
And the AMC's price would have been trading at $1 or $2 anyways, with Ape at like 25, 30, 40 cents. That's exactly what would have happened. You know, I can't tell you what, no one can tell you what's gonna fucking happen.
You saw what happened when the conversion was delayed. It boomed massively. And then you saw what happened when it went through. It dropped massively. Without this conversion, you're at $88.
And then the fundamental people would have been screaming, hey, f*** us. And I would have said, well, no. Do you know that these rich guys are able to steal billions of dollars and hundreds of millions at a time and never go to jail? I've been honest with you this whole fucking time. I haven't lied to you guys, ever.
Did the shorts cover? Nope. What are we talking about? So,
shorts will never cover. It's nice to hear. It's nice to think of.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about right now is the short interest on AMC.
How they getting these shares? It's impossible. Then close the bar. It's because the system is rigged. There's only a certain amount of shares that could be lent out. Where are they getting these shares?
As AMC's stock cratered, Thomas Smallbone branded retail investors angling for a board seat as infiltrators, accusing them of plotting to sneak in a dissenting voice he fought to smother. With Project Popcorn genuinely wreaking havoc on millions of lives, Smallbone still painted lawsuit filers as vultures out to bankrupt AMC. But despite his frantic spins and grandstanding, he couldn't conjure a shred of evidence to prop up his implausible claims.
Easiest way to change the decision making at AMC and force the company into bankruptcy if they can't get rid of Adam Aron and replace him with an infiltrator is to get rid of some of the board of directors.
As the dust settled after the split, the passage of time unveiled a bitter truth. The influencers, once so cocksure, morphed into frantic peddlers of delusion. They spun wild, laughable tales to paint Adam Aron as the champion of retail investors, twisting logic into knots to justify AMC's brazen theft from those very same investors as some warped victory.
And I think this is why over the last few days we've seen a bunch of tweets from influencers asking their followers to appoint them to AMC's board of directors. Stock and Crypto Plays asking to nominate and elect AMC retail investor Jason to AMC's board of directors. And we've now also seen Al from Boston tweeting asking if he ran for an AMC board seat, would you vote him in? Different videos on top of that asking if we should put an ape on the AMC board.
Smallbone's video remains relevant post-split because he addresses several key points. The AMC ape movement initially formed to fight Wall Street and short sellers. It has since evolved into a group that strictly follows the AMC board of directors' wishes. The group now unwaveringly supports Adam Aron.
I've been listening to Twitter space calls that are clearly in support of AMC and clearly against AMC, but the saddest part was how so many people were saying, yes, we are open for conversation. We are the retail community and we love to learn. That's what this is all about. I heard a lot of discussion about, hey, we're helping each other out. And then yet they were saying you can only come up and speak if you already agreed that both AMC and Adam Aron are awesome and they're not doing anything wrong. So I've been involved with this from the start, and the changes that it's gone through, it blows my mind. It truly, truly blows my mind of how we could even have potentially gotten here. And my main question that I would love for anyone to answer is why to support the retail movement? Why to support the fight for market transparency and fairness do we have to specifically support AMC? And even on top of that, why do we have to specifically support Adam Aron? But all of a sudden, there's a cohort of people on the internet who believe that the only way you could support retail is by saying you absolutely love AMC and everything about it is perfect. And then essentially Adam Aron, the CEO, is some sort of financial messiah. And all of a sudden, when you realize that the retail group is having so much infighting, well, who wins in that deal? Well, it's obviously Wall Street, the group we all set out to kind of course correct to begin. Well, they're loving it because no one's focusing on them anymore.
Clearly, these people are trying to coordinate their efforts together to put an infiltrator into the board of directors of AMC. While I do think putting an ape on the board of directors could potentially be a good idea, we have to be very, very careful on who exactly we appoint, as we know there's so many infiltrators in the AMC space already.
Any lawsuits is labeled as coming from shorts or shills. These suits are not seen by Adam Aron's influencers as coming from investors harmed by Project Popcorn. Smallbone states,
are probably not the kind of people we want on the AMC board of directors.
Smallbone then suggests a true retail investor might oppose AMC's decisions. This is expected. After Project Popcorn, why would they not resist?
AMC will not become more profitable because these individuals will try and do everything they possibly can to vote against AMC's decisions, effectively stonewalling the company and causing it to lose more and more money instead of becoming more and more profitable.
Few of Aron's supporters, like Smallbone, verified their share ownership. This raises the likelihood that they could be the infiltrators. In contrast, those advocating for retail investors and proving their AMC share ownership are not the infiltrators. They are legitimate AMC owners.
I really do think this is the shorts and the shills plan.
The remaining baseless hypotheticals lack evidence and speak for themselves.
They know that retail investors aren't selling. They know they can't close because AMC is still on that threshold securities list, incurring tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of FTDs every single day, and they know that AMC is just becoming more profitable. Therefore, the only way they can win is to force AMC into bankruptcy by infiltrating the board of directors to halt that decision-making process. Cheers.
Timothy Seymour of Seymour Asset Management broke ranks in the legacy media, boldly exposing Adam Aron's shameless robbery of retail investors, his revulsion practically crackling as he torched Aron's multi-year betrayal.
She could be keeping theaters in business.
For them later on.
By the way, note how AMC didn't rally through the roof like it says it should have. And that's because they've been too busy jamming their investors and diluting them and doing reverse share splits. And, the stock's gone from 44 to 12 in the last 3 weeks. How's that taste? There's not enough time to talk about what's gone on there, so I won't.
Multi-year low.
Multi-year low.
On September the 1st, Brian Reis intensified his manipulation of retail investors, dispensing financial advice designed to mislead. He urged the public to ignore the stock's price fluctuations and the underlying criminal activities, diverting attention away from the illicit schemes at play. On the 3rd of September, Anthony Franzetti's post claimed the moral high ground, asserting his AMC coverage was driven by virtue, not his positions promoted in numerous live streams or his years of pumping the stock. Through the Project Popcorn misinformation campaign, Franzetti supported Adam Aron's monumental crime spree, using schoolyard banter to call critics haters. His inauthentic post after the reverse split starkly contrasted Aron's historic theft of his retail shareholder base.
Gotta address some things. Apparently out in the YouTube world are saying that I was hired by a private equity firm to destroy the play, AMC. I know YouTube is full of a lot of really dumb motherfuckers. They hired me to do exactly what? I was the one that warned everybody about APE. I said, this is gonna wind up in a courtroom. And I started saying that APE was this weird, look at what's going on right now. People can't even find their settlement shares for APE. You have people out there that actually had interactions with the CEO. For people to say that I was hired by a private or a firm, remember when they used to say I worked for Morgan?
SugarKush's September 4th, 2023 X-Post ignited a firestorm among AMC influencers, sparking a meltdown of rancid pandemonium. They scrambled to twist the post's meaning, regurgitating it as a bizarre attack on retail investors in a tired, juvenile gaslighting spree. Their replies dripped with guilt-soaked exaggeration, desperately hoping fans would gulp down their absurd drivel. Each word betrayed their panic, terrified the jig was up on their 3-year con. Using AMC as their pawn, they siphoned time, cash, and trust from genuine investors, all to rig markets for AMC's benefit or to cash in on Project Popcorn, with zero regard for the wreckage left behind. Part of the post said,
But if you misled retail and grifted off the backs of retail, then you have the right to be worried because prison is not for everyone. Now carry on and sit tight when we will find out soon enough how many of you got paid to screw retail. If you've seen Thomas James's video earlier.
Now, I've kept Thomas James' name off the table for a long time. But Thomas James, you just made a video and you're calling out a lot of particular people, but you're not looking in the mirror yourself.
Today, I want to explain why the shorts are threatening retail investors. They started by begging you to sell. Then they tried creating FUD about AMC going bankrupt to scare you into selling. And now they're trying to threaten you into selling, threatening you with lawsuits, with prison time, or even worse.
Thomas James, convince us why you think people are threatening investors. They're not threatening investors, dude. They're threatening the grifters. Read the text again. As in people who make videos for clicks and views. You. But let's see that you've never been paid off. Is this you? You tell me, Thomas James, that you're posting videos for 42,000 subscribers and you're making $300 a month max. That's what you're making. No one's bought you off. No one's paying you off.
And as Sal tweeted, he said, I think it's hilarious that people like Amy, Gungel NYC, Mark Kohrs, and their merry band of shorts are attempting to manipulate people into investigating influencers.
I'll tell you what, all these dudes right here talk shit to me back in the day. All these guys right here, and I know them all. And I know KC Shaw, and I know Pete G, and I know PK Lance, all of them, Salvatore, everybody out there. Shills, punks, pumpers, yourself included. Are you the gatekeeper for all of them? Did you read all their tweets? I mean, what is going on here? You speak for everybody? I've been in the damn Spaces call with Pete G. Pete G _5 telling everybody, buy and hold, we're going to the moon. This new ape thing's gonna Trump, it's gonna pounce everybody. I was there, I saw all these guys. And you're the paid shill, and you must be paid by somebody. because it's not YouTube. For you personally, you're making $300 a month, allegedly, just off of views, but that's why you're here every day. I want to know what the hell you're doing. Who's paying? Who pays you? I turned them down 5 times. Should I call them back? You guys know what Connect the Dots is?
Last night I was made aware of a major violation of privacy.
You're an accountant for RSM, and you have been for almost a decade.
Marantz Rants unveiled Thomas Smallbone's identity using publicly accessible data, freely available to anyone who bothered to look. Smallbone permitted this information to be openly obtainable, yet seized Marantz findings as a pretext for launching multiple retaliatory strikes. In classic dubious influencer style, evident across his video catalog, Smallbone turned the tables, accusing Marantz of engaging in unlawful activity when the research was entirely above board. He pointed to Marantz's probe as the cause for influencers halting their AMC content creation after the stock's collapse, despite their earlier predictions or instructions to promote a contrary outcome. In truth, their agenda was fulfilled. They had effectively supported short positions in the scheme dubbed Project Popcorn.
I think it's for reasons like this that many AMC YouTubers stopped making videos in the space. I need some help from you guys.
Smallbone escalated matters by rallying his followers to attack Marantz's channel and demand its removal for conducting perfectly legal research, clearly a reaction to being exposed for orchestrating AMC's market manipulation.
We'll head over to his YouTube channel, Marantz Rants, and report his YouTube channel and his recent videos unveiling my personal information, schools and colleges for violating privacy laws. That would be much appreciated.
In a stunning revelation about his channel's purpose, Smallbone admits to suppressing view counts, but his justifications for his actions exploits the audience's tendency towards shallow reasoning, catering to a public preoccupied with fleeting attention spans and consuming information hastily without thorough scrutiny. Smallbone capitalized on certain viewers' inability to swiftly dissect his counter-arguments. His rationale for scrubbing views hinged on being overly emotionally invested in AMC, leading to disseminating misleading information. As this documentary is being filmed, glaring inconsistencies in his recent videos suggest it's routine for him to share inaccurate details and let emotions cloud his content.
I have indeed deleted views in the past, but there's a very important reason why I did that. So obviously what my channel is for collecting and collating due diligence and simplifying it in an easy to understand way. As part of making videos on YouTube and not giving financial advice, you obviously can't say with 100% guaranteed confidence a specific stock is going to hit a certain price on a certain day. In my videos, I try and remain emotionally detached and just present the facts. I present that due diligence, I present that information, I present those news articles, and I give my thoughts on them. So what I do on a regular basis is review my previous videos for when I've been too emotionally attached to AMC. Sometimes instead of saying this is one potential catalyst that could cause something to happen, I say that this is 100% guaranteed to happen, which isn't fair and it's not right.
Smallbone's stated purpose for his YouTube presence, like other influencers, was to deliver truthful insights, prompting him to abandon his accounting career. Revenue from his channel now sustains a comfortable income, giving him every motive to churn out content that remains popular, even if it sacrifices accuracy on the deceptive digital landscape shaped by Project Popcorn.
Back in the day, I used to be a full-time accountant. Any money I earn on the side from YouTube went directly into buying more AMC shares. Over time, I decided to focus more on AMC so I could bring you more higher quality information. As a result, I quit my old job as an accountant to focus on YouTube full time. This money pays for my rent, it pays for my property, it pays for my car, it pays for my food bills, and any spare money I have on the side goes towards buying shares. I think somebody even 5 years old or younger has more intellect than Marantz Rants. Usually I wouldn't address a shill making ridiculous comments, but it's just unfair that he's revealing my personal information and the schools and colleges that I went to.
Thomas James, I had no idea that you had me in your video right here. And you're talking about short sellers, and you keep saying I'm an influencer and a shorter and a shill. I mean, that's what you're putting right there when they read it, right? Meanwhile, Marantz has proven me right that he's jealous of AMC and the popularity it's been getting. No one's jealous. Do you even understand that the popularity is not even real? Shills and bots is not it. You're all being lied to. This guy right here, you know, I said I wasn't going to attack you personally, kid, but Thomas James, look around you. You're pumping a failed stock, a failed investment, but that's what you were paid to do. Why'd you delete 1.3 million views on your channel? Why are you deleting videos? What are you trying to hide? What message are you trying to hide from the so-called 43,000 subs that you've had the whole time? I think I'm right. I think you bought your initial subscriber count, and I think that you're stuck with it. And you're the paid shill, and you must be paid by somebody because it's not YouTube. You're a fake and a fraud. Keep pumping out this stock, but you know what that text was? And I don't even like SugarKush. I know who he is, and I don't care for him either. But he's right. All you grifters better hide. All you grifters better run. And you know who you are because I already named all of you. Punks. You, Thomas James, you're a punk.
On the 6th of September, Stocks and Crypto Plays exposed the stark reality of Adam Aron's betrayal, detailing how his theft from retail investors contributed to the collapse of his own company's value.
Here we go. Popcorn just put in the paperwork for up to 40 million new AMC shares. I anticipate AMC pricing to drop down to like $2 to $3.
After facing constant misrepresentation and marginalization by AMC's board of directors, certain influencers, anonymous social media accounts, and the Delaware Chancery Court's approval of the heist of the century, dedicated AMC investors devised a strategy to secure an accurate share count. They launched a website, AMC Project Popcorn, offering legitimate shareholders a legal means to ensure their ownership matters long term. The initiative invites shareholders to complete a non-invasive, legally notarized affidavit documenting their state and county of residence, the date they purchased their shares, the duration of their shareholding, their voting preference on the reverse stock split, and whether they held their shares through the Chancery Court's ruling that made the illegal legal with Project Popcorn. Aron primarily communicated with shareholders via Twitter X, which became a battleground between genuine shareholders and those claiming ownership. The April 2021 announcement of a vote for 500 additional common stock shares began the deepening divisions within the community. A clear pattern emerged. Initiatives that could benefit retail investors, such as exposing short positions or supporting their investments, were consistently targeted by the same individuals, many of whom are extensively profiled in this series. These individuals fought against retail every step of the way on Aron's behalf, mimicking a paid social media campaign to hinder progress on efforts like a share count, lawsuits, the reverse stock split vote, and the approval of Project Popcorn at the Chancery Court. Retail advocates faced relentless attacks for questioning Aron's leadership. Despite Project Popcorn's success, which significantly harmed investors, a new campaign emerged to block retail investors conducting their own share count and seek justice for the actions of AMC's board and the hedge funds that aggressively undermined their investment. One of the accounts, Straight Jacket Man, tagged the disturbed Corey Amex to find the addresses of shareholders supporting the newly launched share count and asking another, @WaltDarth, to start a GoFundMe for the medical bills to help pay for any investor they were going to physically harm. Another, Mr. Fifth at K5 Sizzle, explicitly provided a death threat for anyone involved with the share count, including the makers of this documentary series. Phil For Real was one of the first AMC-affiliated influencers to challenge the AMC Project Popcorn retail share count movement. He alleged that legitimate retail shareholders were short-selling AMC, a claim rooted in his consistently questionable reasoning and lack of research expertise. Phil asserted that investors supporting the share count were attempting to uncover their positions in AMC, yet he and other prominent Yes voters and influencers failed to substantiate this. He further claimed that these retail investors were pressuring others to sell their shares, a charge most could not prove and which only hindered retail's progress. Ultimately, Phil's post appeared to parrot talking points designed to sow fear, uncertainty, and doubt, discouraging participation in the share count, and suggesting that he and others likely held no real stake in AMC. Phil ended the post by ensuring retail was not heard, silencing them from reaching other investors through him that were affected by the damage he helped cause. The AMC influencers' flawed narrative of shorts covering and the irrational market claims continued to fall apart. Phil For Real, aka Philip Pitts, swiftly shifted from being the aggressor to claiming victimhood amid selective harassment, following the reverse split.
A faceless person that is harassing Biggums, Peter Hahn, and me on Twitter, and they're claiming we were warned many times, but chose to mislead thousands upon thousands of retail shareholders through a monetized YouTube financial advice channel. They willfully and repeatedly pumped a false $30 to $50 ape arbitrage for personal gain. See that word arbitrage? That's not why I got into AMC or ape. The moment that I see my name and I see your name, I'm going to know who you are. We're noticing the short sellers are creating these fake bot accounts. Probably this is one of them. Albatross. I mean, your name is Albatross, which is close to arbitrage. Interesting.
It was last year, beginning of this year, where Popcorn put out a tweet against the people that were saying that AMC was going to go into bankrupt, and he was like, back to you for the ones that thought AMC was going to be bankrupted. Then a couple of months later, he's putting out messages that we're going to go into bankruptcy if we don't get this reverse split. He was like, if we don't get this liquidity, we might face future bankruptcy.
The CEO then goes and brags on Twitter all the time about how great AMC is doing, and then stresses that somehow they're heading for bankruptcy at any point and they have to be able to dilute massively.
What gate in the hell opened up that you walked out of and came to this country? Back away, fat demon. You have a CEO that says we're not going into bankruptcy. Then he says we are going into bankruptcy. Like, for real, that don't even make any sense. Bankruptcy? What bankruptcy? Who's running out of money? Us?
And I'm going to explain what Phil, dumbass for real, is saying. This is absolutely ignorance 101. I don't even know why I watch this shit. You still have to dilute the shares of the company by selling shares and raising capital. They didn't want to buy it at $1. They didn't want to buy it at $2, $3. You think they want to buy your trumped up shares at $25? They bought it at 60 cents. So where do you think they're going to buy it at? It's called distressed credit investing. Google the fucking term. You are clueless. Zero DD.
Distressed debt investing is basically buying the debt of companies in trouble. Companies that might be perhaps close to default or even bankruptcy. Funds buy that debt cheaply from banks or other funds that don't want to deal with the situation, betting that they can profit from a turnaround, a restructuring, or even by gaining control of the company's future. Private equity firms, including big names like Oaktree, Apollo, Ares, and Blackstone, seize the opportunity.
I'm quite confused.
No homework at all. You are stuck in your echo chamber of AMC Biggums and Boss Blunts, and all you guys deserve each other. You're going to lose every dollar you ever put in. You and your good energy. You guys set yourself up for this shit. I'm tired of your bullshit videos, your little parody songs, all the shit you do. You're trying to string people along in this play, tell them you're going to vote yes. Your vote doesn't fucking matter. You're making a video about people I'm still voting yes. Nobody cares. Adam Aron has the votes himself without you. This is why they sold the stock. This is why they put out the press release. Because now they're negotiating other said shares they're about to sell off to other people with the idea of, hey, by the way, this is what we're doing now. And Tara's in charge. They hold 20% of this company. I'm just a figure piece. Adam Aron's just a poster child of robbing retail. That's going to be his legacy. And your legacy, well, it's going to be making terrible fucking AMC YouTube videos. That's what you're going to live by, bro. Enjoy the $2. Enjoy everything you're not getting. And I don't know what else to tell you. It's late, man. Get some sleep. Peace. Scrub.
Unfortunately, AMC just hit a new all-time low. It's down in excess of 98%. And from the moment that the CEO, Adam Aron, announced an additional dilution of 40 million shares, it's down roughly 50%.
Oh my God. He dumped the 40 million at $11 and change. Why? This is the worst time to dilute. He's evil. He's Captain Dilution.
So again, I get it. A lot of people want you to toe the line, and I'm going to lose those people with this video. They want me to toe the line and say that Big Daddy Adam Aron can do no wrong. We must just look at Big Daddy and say, oh, thank you so much for dumping on us. Thank you so much.
The shorts are safe. Everything is fine. And like I said last night, it's gonna have to build up again. The second drop that popcorn does, fact check me when it happens. When we have the run up, it's going to be one of those like what he did with Mudrick, like, yeah, listen, I got another 100 million shares. What do you want to do? He's gonna drop it in 2 seconds.
But I'm so incredibly tired of this statement that to be a real ape, to be a real retail trader, you have to love Adam Aron. You have to love AMC. My question to that is why? They're now changing their thesis halfway through it, and they feel like if you're not doing that with them, you're somehow the bad guy, the shill, someone working for a hedge fund. It's childish, and no one's gonna get anywhere with it. It's now just at the point where it's absolutely filled with bots.
On September 12th, Anthony Franzetti shifted his attention to Doug Cifu, a frequent target of AMC influencers. While Adam Aron quietly orchestrated the company's downfall through theft, Franzetti clumsily tried to deflect Aron's crimes by posing as a champion for retail investors and attacking Cifu's Virtu Financial. In reality, Franzetti aided Aron in one of the largest thefts in American history, possibly through a paid and undisclosed sponsorship inferred by his actions and consistent promotion of Project Popcorn. On September 13th, 2023, Kevin Malone posted on X, revealing that AMC's board of directors sold 40 million shares, with none of the directors purchasing any shares themselves. In a subsequent post, Malone addressed the collapse of the much-hyped cost-to-borrow rate for AMC shares, which had been promoted by Project Popcorn advocates to entice investors to hold through 3 years of market manipulation. He noted the borrow rate plummeted from over 1,000% to 3.9% after Project Popcorn, signaling the end of the manipulated narrative. Malone's post underscored his belief that these actions deliberately eroded retail investor value. Charlie Plattis highlighted that AMC's original filing for 40 million shares stated they would be issued from time to time. This echoed their assurance to the Delaware Chancery Court that the shares wouldn't be released all at once. Yet Adam Aron issued the shares in just a few days. Pringle talks about one of Rose Izzo's important objections, the ability to opt out, where AMC promises a specific caveat in allowing the settlement, that they would not immediately collapse the APE and AMC common stock shares, nor immediately dilute as a promise contingent to allow the non-opt-out clause.
I guess there's a couple of statements on the record. Basically, we're not going to collapse the common and preferred anytime soon. We're not going to use this as a dilution mechanism. There won't be dilution anytime soon. Like, don't worry. We're just issuing apes. We're not doing anything else with it.
On September the 16th, Katherine Larsen pushed back against investor doubts, rejecting claims she failed to prove share ownership during the 2023 summer court proceedings. She accused those of questioning her authenticity of being shills, the tired boogeyman term influencers like her repeatedly wield to attack verified investors whose AMC shares were stripped away. Yet, for 3 years, Larsen's market manipulation predictions have spread numerous falsehoods about AMC, serving the interests of the company's executive leadership. To substantiate her ownership, Larsen shared a screenshot from Corrine Elise Amato's June 21st, 2023 court decision. However, the third revision of the Berry affidavit, issued less than 24 hours earlier, tells a different story. Larsen's name is absent in the first version, appears without proof of ownership on page 23 of the second version, and in the third version, it's confirmed. Larsen held no shares when she endorsed Aron's Project Popcorn theft with her letter of support.
I read these comments out on X all day long. I see the comments in the I guess comment section of these YouTube videos here, and I can't help but think these people are absolute sheep. They've been brainwashed. There's no helping them, or they're just not all there. I don't know what the answer is, right? It bewilders my mind that some people would think this is a good idea. And I simply have to ask why, because I have no idea. I cannot fathom the answer to that question. The only thing that makes sense is that the people who don't make sense are paid to not make sense. Now think about that. You guys know a lot of the prominent names in this AMC stock movement who have been screaming that dilution and debt reduction is the answer all along, but you should be willing to help Adam Aron. You should be willing to help a man who is unwilling to help himself. I could go on all day because it boggles my mind and really upsets me to see people led down this direction.
Sure, everyone's pissed off, so I shouldn't even ask that question. Everybody woke up today and saw the filing for the 40 million shares for AMC. And a lot of people are sad about it. They act like they didn't know dilution was coming right after a reverse split. People are sitting here going, man, this might not have been the right way, but I'm going to go over everything. You guys, I know this fucking feels like it's the wrong path, and I know that, but I'm going to show you what you would have woken up to today. And it's a lot better of a situation than what you would have woken up to. It was like, man, this 40 million, this was the wrong path. It's like we're diluting at $1.10. If we would have woke up and said no, something would have happened to this conversion. But what ended up happening is, if you guys look at it, APE would have plummeted. The price obviously went up because everybody was playing the arbitrage play, and it would have dropped back down to levels where Antera dropped, bought in at 66 cents. You would have seen APE drop back down to what, 80 cents? And then what ended up happening on this news is APE would have dropped even farther. They would have shorted it back down. Now, what I think happened this morning is Adam Aron went ahead and he dropped a block of shares.
Back in his August 28th video, Brian Reis employed fear-mongering tactics, initially predicting Aron would sell APE at 40 to 55 cents. He later adjusts this to 33 cents after Aron releases 40 million shares, intensifying fears and cunningly misleading viewers into thinking dilution benefits everyone. In the past, he's been accused of changing the narrative to fit his motives when it is clear deception.
Why the f would I cover when I can sit there and over buy APE now at 45, 55 cents? And then what we're going to do, instead of having one Antera, you're going to have 4 or 5. But that's still a massive difference between selling at 33 cents, which is what we would have been able to do. We would have been diluting billions of APE just to equal what the hell we would have done off this. People think AMC wasn't going to get out of dilution, and it blows my fucking mind. We need to make sure we are seeing the movies.
Recall, before the proceedings at the Chancery Court up until Project Popcorn was approved, the short thesis was dead. Suddenly, it's alive again.
And also explain how they're terrified of a split with yet another lawsuit.
Why do you think these shorts are so fucking scared of the conversion and the reverse split?
We know the shorts are afraid of the reverse stock split.
Like I said, they're scared shitless, you guys.
I consider it a short's dream for this lawsuit to go against AMC. They'd be like, oh, we got him in the final trap now.
Every time you split your stock, it becomes fodder for the shorts. I mean, when you go 1 for 25 and then one for authorized, 1 for 100, you do 1 for 9, we know that the shorts pounce.
If they don't convert, shorts just get shitted on right now.
Today, everybody wants to sit there and act like, oh my God, we got destroyed. And no, you didn't. Fucking option to do it, other than to dilute. Fucking goddamn it, I'm so fucked. I gotta get this played to $200. Well, guess what? You can buy now, and just like you would have been buying at 88 cents before, when we told you to get APE at 88 fucking cents, you can average down insanely fucking hard if you believe in the play right now, and you're way up there, can't you?
Today, I want to talk about how we're on the verge of triggering billions of dollars in forced selling.
You never talked about those Brazilian AMC shares. Think about that one for a second. I laugh when people tell me he contacted FINRA in the exchange about the FTDs. I'm thinking to myself, like, do you remember 500 million AMC shares in Brazil with Citi? And nobody talks about, it's like nobody talks about that. And when people are like, oh, but what about the other movie stocks? They're all up. Yeah, but there's a problem. They know that this CEO, okay, Adam Aron, is holding 500 million shares ready to drop at any time it goes up. That's the chilling effect with AMC right now. It is the dilution king company. It's taken down a lot of investors as far as their holding. And the fact that it just went through a reverse split with a CEO putting out hit pieces on his own company, all of these meme stocks, because at the end of the day, they use people, especially this company. This company did a job on people.
Today, I want to talk about how the director of the film Da Money has said the AMC play is not over and that a short squeeze or run up will happen again.
Al, out from Boston. He filed a lawsuit against all the parties. You see, that's the kind of weird thing about this stock. When you take a look at the amount of people that he named as defendants, now you're understanding how many people were involved on the other side of AMC, profiting from everything AMC's scheming, working together. Like this would have never happened in the past. If you get into discovery, popcorn. That's all I can say. And then find out through subpoena, through interrogatories, find out what YouTube influencers AMC paid in order to get people to go forward with this. Don't forget what I just told you. That is key for later on, because that will 100% show that side reached over to this side and paid influencers in order to bring people over. Those influencers, they're gonna be defendants one day. The shorts are not in danger now because they know that there's shares out there. So yes, we own the float, but so what? They have shares waiting to drop. See, everybody right now that's shorting this stock, whether they shorted it illegally or not, know that if the price goes up and they're in trouble, they also know that popcorn is going to be dumping shares in order to make a profit. So that's kind of like, that's where this is at right now. Everybody here is an AMC victim. Everybody got cut 10 to 1. If you bought in at 30, you need 300 to be break even. AMC was making money beforehand. AMC didn't even need to do anything with the debt until 2026. Only people with big money that's buying this stock is the ones that are going to lend out the shares. And right now, popcorn and them, I'm sure they're lending out those shares. And listen, this one was different. This was sabotage. This was done against us. It wasn't for us, it was for them. You understand? That's why at the end of the day, you take a look at this whole thing. Now we know exactly what him and the board did. Because this stock, the people that are involved, the company didn't need the shares. Where's the dire emergency that they needed the shares for? Popcorn didn't explain this to everybody, especially during the lawsuit, because we might go into bankruptcy. Do you know that during the time when he was talking about bankruptcy, he was basically working with the Taylor Swift people to bring Taylor Swift directly to AMC. It was a direct to AMC business relationship, which has never been done before. Remember when this friendly Puerto Rican came to YouTube and said, hey, they're just running everything on a secondary book system. Yeah, they're just handling everything on the side. So you see that price, but they have another price and they're running it on that side. Nobody believed me. People thought I was crazy. At the end of the day, I told you they haven't got the money to settle this thing. Morgan Stanley may pay up to $1 billion to resolve U.S. probe into private stock sales. Oh my God, Morgan, how can you do such a thing? I told everybody back then, they were running AMC on a secondary set of books. They were doing business on the side. I said, when you think everything is done on the weekends, they're making sure everything is taken care of. Because at the end, they were running the books on the side against all of us. You understand?
The Parseval reminded everyone of the importance of the January 27th, 2021 date and the creation of GameStop and AMC tokenized shares. Charlie Plattis, known as Ziptrader, made two critical statements that exposed the shady underworkings of AMC Theaters' business practices, easily understandable to anyone. The first statement ominously warned of yet another stock dilution event looming in December, further eroding shareholder value. He stated, if you are buying AMC stock, it is a donation to Adam Aron and the board, not an investment. This will not be the last of the dilution. Under Adam Aron, their primary business is selling shares, not movie tickets or popcorn. We said this the last time and got a lot of pushback. And we are saying this again. AMC is a great squeeze setup that is being thwarted again and again by the board, recklessly diluting. On November the 21st, his second message conveyed perfectly how Adam Aron and the AMC board of directors were continually robbing retail investors throughout Adam Aron's reign, even after Project Popcorn completed. It still goes on to this day. Plattis said, as of today, AMC stock is at its lowest price in history. This is what happens when a very unique short squeeze setup gets pillaged by a greedy board obsessed with destroying shareholder value. Bots will continue to tell you to donate to CEO Adams' enrichment fund. But think twice. We've been warning this would happen since the original dilution started.
And I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I have not read through this entire thing.
It's 200 pages. I don't blame you.
I did exactly according to the due diligence I provided on here, which was at the point that it made sense, converted my AMC to APE, and then sold it after the settlement was approved because it ran up.
On November the 22nd, attacks on retail investors conducting a legal share count continued. One of Aron's supporters, unwittingly misguided, failed to recognize that shareholders genuinely outraged by Aron's theft were not an army of short sellers, as their cognitive bias led them to believe. They persisted in convincing other retail investors that the share count was harmful. In some cases, it seems Aron didn't need to pay certain followers, as their own mental shortcomings and limited ability to connect information drove their actions.
Today, I want to talk about how you can become a millionaire from the AMC squeeze.
Popcorn has to have no shares because every time it rises up, he has shares, he will drop. And I keep telling people that as long as he has shares, everybody in AMC is That is our biggest enemy. It ain't the shorts, it ain't the hedge funds, it ain't the banks. It is popcorn and the board. That's why that's a toxic play. We beat everybody, but the company we saved worked against us. I am a long-time AMC holder, still holding. My investment is down 84%. Popcorn can eat 350 million dicks. Trust me, I know. Tomorrow morning, opening a business, AMC for me is done.
In the beginning of December, Rose Izzo filed her appeal with the Supreme Court of Delaware.
Why do you have to have the ability to dump massively now? You just simply do not. This is all a farce.
Ahora, ¿cuántas agujas van a meterte mañana? Una sola. Perfecto.
So when I talk about Adam Aron, about not saying nothing, here's a quick point. The fact that 100 years of AMC had the best earnings ever. What does he come out and do? The very next day, dilution. The very next day, momentum was on the side for the retail investor, possible upside, 100 years. That's never happened in the history of AMC. Best earnings ever, blah, blah, blah. What do you get? Bam! Dilution. Right up the ass.
While the management seemingly try to do everything in their power to make sure that every time the stock is about to break out and squeeze, that some sort of press release comes out that says, oh, we're gonna push. We're gonna fight tooth and nail to have dilution. We're gonna push through any court hearing, any judge that blocks us, we're gonna just ram through them and make sure that we can dilute like mofos.
He has a knack for saying really bad things when it comes to good things happening for the ticker symbol. But when really bad things are happening to the ticker symbol, not a peep, not a word, him just sitting back, I'm sure just milking it all in, taking it all in, and understanding this was the plan the whole time. Go over retail.
Aron played the tired COVID sympathy card again, referencing AMC's stock crashing to $4.48 per share post-split. He blamed a 4-year-old pandemic, conveniently dodging the real culprit, his premeditated 2021 Project Popcorn scheme that tanked the stock.
We're gonna face bankruptcy. It's horrible. In 2 years from now, we won't have any more money for pay raises or bonuses. It's so horrible. It's coming. What's coming? I don't know.
Let me tell you something. If you think you're having a bad day, trust me, you're not. Love all you motherfuckers. I'll be back soon. Look at this hat. I'm gonna rock this stuff. I look like half a Smurf. Love you. I'll be back.
He passed away on March 12th. At like 1 in the morning, he had an infection after surgery that his body couldn't fight, and he is no longer with us.
want to talk about how the shorts will soon be closing all of their short positions, leading to the mother of all short squeezes. Today, I want to talk about the massive short squeeze that just happened on Friday, which we can actually watch back in real time and use as AMC short squeeze preparation.
I feel your pain.
In early 2025, Aron leaned into his I Feel Your Pain Act, claiming to be a shareholder too. For years after dumping his own shares, knowing Project Popcorn would gut the stock, he gloated about receiving new shares, untouched by the reverse split, perfectly timed to match the stock's current value. With outrage mounting, Aron's true colors shone through. In a desperate bid to silence critics, he smeared negative X posts about him as bot-driven. Trying to manipulate X's owner Elon Musk into censoring shareholders, he spent 4 years plotting to divest of their money.
But before I close this call and move to questions, I'd like to close with just a special message to our retail shareholders, many of whom, thousands of whom, will be listening to this webcast. I want you to know that what I've said to you for years now remains true. Every day I continue to actively read your social media commentary as it gives me a great sense of your views and lets me read the room, so to speak.
As this production examined Aron's misleading and disingenuous remarks to retail investors, it became essential to address them before concluding the documentary. His statements weren't just hollow, they reflected a consistent pattern of deception that continues to define AMC's leadership. At the center is Aron, widely regarded as the architect of a self-serving business model that many believe exploited shareholders for executive gain.
Over the past few years, I have poured a part of my life into understanding what happened to my investment in AMC. After suffering losses, I set out to find the truth, collecting mountains of evidence and building a documentary to answer one question. Did AMC's leadership steal from me and from thousands of others?
When I finished, I had to ask myself, well, what now? Do I sit back like so many others who were crushed and gave up, watching in silence while this fraud continues, ignored by nearly every agency meant to protect us? Do I stay quiet, knowing full well that Adam Aron and AMC's board are still doing it, still enriching themselves at the expense of shareholders from the moment Aron became CEO through Project Popcorn and into the present day? I want to hold AMC Theaters leadership accountable, to request an investigation, and to stand with every shareholder who was betrayed and silenced for the past few years. Adam Aron and the board of directors at AMC Theaters. As an investor in AMC since 2022, carrying the voices of countless people around the world who have reached out to me, people who lost nearly everything or lost everything. They believed you were on their side. I believed you. Every tweet, every crafted reassurance meant to calm retail investors, I believed them. We all did. I believed you when you promised on CNBC with Melissa Lee that you would uphold your fiduciary duty, open AMC to market scrutiny, and protect retail investors' hard-earned money. I believed you when you called yourself the Silverback, the leader of the retail ape movement. But the people who saved AMC in 2021 weren't naive. They entered the market believing it was a fair playing field and that you were on their side. They didn't lose because they were foolish. They lost because you betrayed them, because you put out that persona that you could be trusted. And we trusted you. On January 27th, 2021, the day after hedge funds took massive losses, you convened an emergency meeting and referenced a crowdsourcing effort. You knew tokenized shares were flooding the market while retail held a legitimate stock. In that day, the AMC stock subreddit appeared, building a loyal online army. You then demanded authorization for 500 million new shares, a move retail investors rejected, forcing you to pull the vote. Soon after, Citigroup, AMC's lead underwriter and financial advisor, reached out. They were already playing both sides, profiting as AMC's partner while working with short sellers against your own shareholders.
The board weaponized its blank check stock to target its own investors using APE as the vehicle.
Together, you revived an old 2013 shareholder authorization like a blank check and began what can only be called a coordinated dilution scheme amounting to de facto asset stripping. By November 2021, you and the board met with Citigroup's Derek Van Zandt to design Project Popcorn, a plan to weaponize preferred equity units, rebranded as APES, to keep retail loyal while quietly gutting their investment. But APE was only the start. Behind the scenes, a coordinated campaign with Wall Street partners ensured this betrayal would succeed. You told investors APEs were a gift, tax-free, and a dividend. None of it was true. They already belonged to retail. You simply cut AMC's value in half. They weren't tax-free. APE collapsed the moment it hit the market. This was not a dividend. It was forced dilution, disguised as a reward.
APE was created with the intent and purpose to defraud and mislead AMC retail investors, a smash and grab against shareholders.
Then came the tour, your so-called checkmate against short sellers. Many cheered you, many believed you, but the paper trail proves it was all planned in advance. From DF King's emails, Crystal Scrudato and Jeffrey Weinberg warned AMC that retail support was essential to pass the reverse split and APE conversion vote. They coordinated crowdsourcing campaigns to influence retail sentiment even before APE was announced. In the B. Riley emails, your investment bankers admitted the plan would tank the stock, and you proceeded anyway. Among the people that were involved in those emails were two of AMC's executives, John Merriweather and Sean Goodman. Therefore, they knew they were taking the stock on purpose.
In the Antara Capital emails, they confirmed AMC was not near bankruptcy, even as you told retail the opposite, to frighten them into voting your way.
After crashing the price per APE to below $1, Citigroup introduced Adam Aron to Antara Capital, guaranteeing a rigged vote. Then, for the coup de grace, you agreed to sell APE to Antara, along with Citigroup, at a pre-arranged price of 66 to 68 cents, locking in their yes vote and guaranteeing APE's collapse, while retail was wiped out.
I want to make sure you know one thing. You've been postulating falsehoods to retail for years now. One of them includes dismissing these as theories.
Adam, these are not theories. These are your own documents, your own emails. Let's fast forward to February 2025 and your quarter 4 earnings call for 2024. It began with John Merriweather's safe harbor disclaimer, warning investors about uncertainties supposedly beyond the company's control. He said,
several of the factors that will determine the company's future results are beyond the ability of the company to control or predict.
That was a lie.
You claimed uncertainty while emails between Citigroup, Antara, DF King, and B. Riley prove you had already engineered the outcome behind closed doors. A safe harbor statement is not a license to lie. AMC used it as a shield to mislead retail investors about a future you had already scripted. Then, Adam, you mocked us. You said,
sadly, there's so much false information floating around AMC on social media. Similarly, there are crackpot conspiracy theorists, like one after another, that seem to delight in speaking foolishly about AMC.
How are emails fake, Adam? How was your meeting with Derek Van Zandt to design Project Popcorn false information?
You told us not to be distracted in what you said in the earnings call. We now know what you meant. Don't believe the truth.
Then you said people are delighting in saying these things about AMC. Let me tell you unequivocally, There is no delight in knowing millions of investors were robbed by AMC and by you. You and your board enriched yourselves and hedge funds, while the investors who saved AMC in 2021 were destroyed by insider trading, collusion, dilution, and betrayal.
The fraud was highly organized, a more civilized smash and grab.
For me, I even gave you the benefit of the doubt, creating documentaries at first to defend you until I found out what was really going on. I was wrong. It was all real. It was all planned, and for speaking up, I endured attacks. People you've met in person called my employer, tried to get me fired, and threatened my life and the lives of others.
Adam Aron, Citigroup, and the AMC board, history will not remember you as saviors. It will remember you as architects of one of the greatest betrayals of retail investors in history.
To every shareholder, regulator, and public official, this cannot be ignored. Demand investigation. Share your story. Join any legal effort to hold AMC leadership accountable. History is watching and accountability will come. The script never changed. Adam Aron, center stage again, told shareholders he'd ask them for more shares, just like the 500 million he tried to push in 2021. But when the votes go against him, he doesn't accept the outcome. He rewrites the rules. Retail investors are left in the dark, their voices drowned out in the noise. AMC Theaters keeps acting sincere, but the real production is embezzlement, racketeering, and corporate corruption on repeat. Like a rigged play, no one's allowed to stop. Aron repeats the cycle and continues the fraud.
Having said that, though, here is a pledge that I am making to you today. There will be no more cash raised from the sale of common stock in calendar year 2025 unless we first take that matter of authorizing more common shares to you, our shareholders, for you to vote and help us make such a decision.
A year after blaming 3 years of COVID, Aron blamed COVID, buttressing each statement as fact, while frustrated with the barrage of retail investors speaking their minds to him as his effort to silence them on X failed. Many of the investors in AMC knew Project Popcorn existed, but Aron disregarded the evidence as conspiratorial, blaming the box office and COVID. One person justly pointed out how his COVID argument was patently pathetic.
The box office, movies are coming in, but we're facing bankruptcy.
Kevin Malone's post on April the 2nd shot back at Aron's post on April the 1st. Whether deliberate or not, Aron was playing his investors for fools on April Fool's Day. Malone said that Aron had made more money than AMC as a company within the last 7 years. Investor Paul Drew stated on April the 5th, 2025, while Aron was using his "I ride with you" slogan again on investors, that he never bought a single share with his own money. The shares avoided being destroyed by Project Popcorn, and that Aron was paying his taxes on capital gains with the money he stole from retail investors. On the 16th of April, Malone struck at Aron again, reminding people that he still failed to purchase any shares. Aron's response was one of the most sickening and disingenuous attempts to deflect any criticism away from him, apart from attempting to have retail investors' accounts removed, stating that it was against securities laws for him to purchase any shares after committing what will go down in history as one of the biggest unenforced, well-planned, collusion-filled securities fraud of a lifetime, and possibly more with Project Popcorn. Despite his grasping to attain innocence, there is nothing Aron can do to erase his legacy as a CEO who stole billions of dollars away from millions of people, all because he believed he could get away with it, and still does. However, it is unsurprising because one of his closest friends and former bosses, Leon Black, was able to run from allegations of pedophilia by paying the Virgin Islands $62.5 million in connection to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Trey Collins and Matt Kohrs emerged as prominent figures in the AMC ape movement, amassing significant followings during the saga and maintaining considerable influence over online communities. Their paths diverged when Collins endorsed Adam Aron's Project Popcorn, viewing it as beneficial for investors, while Kohrs cautioned against its potential harm, making himself a target for influencers aligned with Aron's strategy. Notably, Collins later admitted to receiving payment from an undisclosed source to promote a stock, a rare acknowledgement among the key figures in Aron's plan.
What's up, guys? Some of you might have seen, we all know Trey's trades. He'd come back and been posting, and a lot of people have been saying that it's just a matter of time before he gets back into the YouTube game, the stock game. Looks like he's gonna make a comeback. He's like, screw it, dude's in money, he's admitted to it. But what's even more crazy is he's admitted that there was a point there that he was actually paid to specifically promote a stock. 99% or whatever it may be, the majority of these influencers, especially when it came to AMC, they were here for the money.
A lot of people have been asking me lately how I lost my money, and I've debated whether or not to make a video talking about it, but I feel like this would be helpful. Back when I started my YouTube channel in December of 2020, I didn't have a lot of money to my name, and previously I had a bit of a gambling problem. I was playing with not very much money at the time, but I certainly still had a gambling problem, and I accrued a decent chunk of debt from that alongside some medical issues. I started up YouTube and quickly found success. I was just very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I went from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers in like a month and a half. The way that I handled my finances just was not very intelligent at all. The majority of my net worth was in AMC stock, and that short period of time from December of 2020 to June of 2021 was well over $1 million from my YouTube channel and from options. Together, I had made about $1.5 million in like 6 months, which is just not normal. I remember in June of 2021, my YouTube channel gave me $180,000 in revenue. I mean, that's just crazy. And I obviously didn't save anything for taxes either, and that got me into a pretty bad spot. It's crazy to say that you're living paycheck to paycheck when you're making that much money, but I was at the time. But I just lost all my money being a degenerate. When I lost everything, when I stepped away in September of 2022, I told half of the entire truth. You know, half of the reason I left was because I didn't like the way that things were looking. I thought that the company was looking rough. Anytime I would try to point out things that I thought that were counterintuitive to the thoughts of the general public, I would get shit on. And you know, it'd probably be easy to come back to YouTube and generate income that way, but that feels like the wrong way to do things. It doesn't feel right, and that's important to me. It's important that I feel like I'm doing things the right way, and that feels like an immoral way, quick fix way to make my money back.
It took one day for Trey Collins' moral compass to decide to go back to YouTube. Matt Kohrs responded to Trey Collins by saying, "That being said, paying off your debt by leveraging the same community you misled is not the right move. Some are saying Trey owned up to it, but all he admitted was that his life took a downward spiral after blowing his trading accounts and developing addictions. That's deeply upsetting, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's brutal." However, he still hasn't acknowledged that he was an undisclosed stock promoter. He hasn't apologized for actively deceiving his community. He never publicly admitted that he knowingly posted misleading videos just because they performed well, saying, "It's getting too many views to take down." Intent matters. Getting predictions wrong is part of the game, especially in the markets, but actively lying is a completely different story. Instead of telling hard truths, Trey chose to spread comfortable lies. Everyone deserves a second chance, but that only begins with telling the truth.
I guess we're live, man. What the heck, dude? This is kind of crazy. How y'all doing? I'm gonna wait a couple minutes here for people to roll into the chat. I'm kind of nervous. I can feel my heart beating real quick right now. It's been a couple of years since I've been on a YouTube live stream or...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, apes and ape bets. On behalf of Trey's Trades, the Gorilla Gang, and the AMC investor community, I would like to say I am not a dead cat. And we would like to extend a warm welcome to Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC Entertainment, and 35 years of experience as a consumer engagement experience manager. With that being said, I would like to sincerely thank you, Adam, for accepting our interview request, helping us understand more about the upcoming shareholder meeting proposals, and discussing AMC's future with the Guerrilla Gang. We're not sure if you're aware of this, but we consider you one of us and occasionally refer to you tenderly as the silverback of the Guerrilla Gang. To our knowledge, never in the history of publicly traded companies has a CEO had total access to tens of thousands of global retail investors by way of a YouTube channel through one single influencer. And I have to say, I'm extremely humbled and honored to be able to be that guy, speaking for the community. We view this as groundbreaking, and I'm sure that you, with your long history of consumer engagement experience, can appreciate that this has significant marketing and sentimental value to AMC and its shareholders. Adam, in case you were not aware of how widespread our community has grown, you and me included, the entire community, there was a recent Reddit post with recent request for a shareholders location. And amazingly, we found that we now have shareholding apes in 800 locations in 69 countries around the world. Before we begin, I would like to point out that we have reached out to our community and requested that apes suggest the subject matters and questions that we're going to be covering today during this interview. So a lot of this is questions that have been asked by the public specifically for you. And I just have to say one more time, it's an absolute honor to be able to speak with you. I'm very humbled.
FTDs go bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.
The number one son.